Welcome, Tech It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Louis Barcenas, who is the Director of Sales Engineering at Automation Anywhere, in particular for the Latin America market. Welcome to the show, Louis.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
It's an exciting area you're in. You guys are leading this area of RPA, robotic process automation. Um, Let us know what are some of the innovations and trends that you're seeing, and then we're going to get into your role of being a leader and talk about some of the best practices and the changes in automation. Maybe you can talk about how you're using your own technology to do your job, and letting us know, drinking your own champagne there.
So my name is Luis Barcenas. I'm based out of Miami, and I oversee the sales engineering department for Latin America at Automation Anywhere. We are a company that is focused on the industry or the market called RPA, robotic process automation. Okay, and this is a technology that is basically focused on automating business processes for many different industries. You can think of any repetitive task that is performed within your organization, and I'm pretty sure that RPA can automate it. Right? We are leader in this space. We have offices basically all around the globe. Our headquarters are in Silicon Valley in San Jose, California. And we're basically deploying or offering this automation platform for the business to automate end-to-end processes using a bunch of different technologies from artificial intelligence, machine learning, and many other things that are out there.
Maybe you can give us an example that the consumers can relate to, maybe in the finance industry or insurance. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So we're basically present in the different industries. I mean, you can think of banking, telco, health insurance, and so on. But if I can give you an example, I can definitely concentrate on the banking and financing services, for example. We have a huge portfolio of customers in Latin America with the most important banks in the region adopting technology like ours to automate their own back office processes. And the banking in particular has been an early adopter of these technologies because I think you can agree that although the banking is always trying to transform themselves, they also have a lot of legacy applications, a lot of legacy systems that sometimes it becomes difficult for them to change or upgrade or transform, right? So we've seen a lot of different processes for them be automated, and one of them has to do with their branches. Basically giving bots to their tellers into their different branches. And we have different use cases for that. One of them is, if one of the experiences that we changed with one of our customers was when a customer would approach a branch and the customer will have a particular request, like maybe a wire transfer, a deposit, or something like that, then the teller will spend typically 5 to 10 minutes trying to address that particular request and give the customer an answer. What we did with this bank was to basically give this teller a bot, a digital assistant, that was able to do all of these tasks a lot quicker. And the bank saw that they saw the reduction in time, they saw that they were able to speed up the process, but they also saw a different opportunity. They also saw that in that transaction, now that it was faster, they also provided a better customer experience. But in return, the digital assistant, the bot, was able to give the teller a 360 view of the customer. So the teller now was able to offer new products, new services, and many other things that before they were not able to. And what the bank saw here was a huge increase on new products and new credit lines and whatever you want to call them to these new customers. So they were able to offer new product to them, increase the customer experience, and at the same time getting a return of investment a lot higher than they were expecting.
Yes, I think that all of us have seen a change in the interaction with bank tellers. Uh, I think that one of the fears people have is like with automation, it's going to replace our jobs. But it has shown that automation has increased the joy of working for people because now they're not doing that mundane, repetitive task. They're doing something a lot more interesting and higher value. So really, it's a win-win for everyone. So we talk about using automation in processes internally, like for your team. I want to ask you, how have you used automation in streamlining your processes, reducing inefficiency in your organization? I know you've got 20 people. As sales engineers, you're talking with prospects, showing them demos, trying to help move those opportunities down the funnel. Have you tried to use automation in the processes?
Absolutely. And we do drink our own champagne, so we try to do as much as possible and automate as much as possible within our own organization. And like you said, being in the sales engineering space, we do a lot of demos, technical conversations, proof of values, also so some people call. So we're in the trenches with our sales account team as well. And one of the things that this pandemic has really showed us or teach us is that now that all the work can be done remotely, then we need to leverage even a lot more of these technologies that we have at our disposal. We have basically from our company, we have an army of bots that we can really use to make our jobs easier and to make our lives easier, right, as well. One of the things that we saw was that now that we have more time from working from home and and remote working, then that allows us to give more coverage to a different set of market or a different countries that maybe before we didn't have. We have offices basically in all the different capitals of Latin America, but we still don't have a local presence in some other countries. But this ability has helped, or this change has allowed us to provide a better coverage with the people we have. On the other side, on the innovations that we're also doing from our team, is the ability to introduce more guided demos and guided tutorials for our prospects and customers. One example that I can give you is before we used to do kind of like tutorials and demos for a particular set of customers, but we will need also a very large number of sales engineers to be present to take the customer by the hand, because a lot of these customers have never touched the tool, don't know what RPA is, but we still want to be able to provide that guided experience, that hand-holding experience to the customer. So
And you were doing that manually, right? You were doing that manually, several sales engineers so maybe if you have 20 prospects wanting to go through the demo and experience this, you would have to have, like, say, 5 sales engineers to work with them.
That's correct. Yes, because like we wanna have that personalized experience, right? Having somebody to show you if you get stuck, if you have any questions. So we will have that type of ratio, like 20 participants, and we'll have 4 or 5 people, 4 or 5 engineers assisting them. But now what we're doing is rethinking that entire process, and we're leveraging our own product to actually take the customer by the hand with in product training or in product modules that basically you open up the product, you open up a browser, and the tutorial will guide you by the hand and tell you exactly what to do without any particular mistakes. If you have mistakes, just go back and do it again. And this has really allowed us to cover a bigger set of participants in a particular session. Before we were limited perhaps to our own resources, because maybe we only have 4 or 5 people available for that day. But now the sky is the limit. Now that we can have this automated tutorial, then we can have maybe just 1 or 2 engineers assisting perhaps 100 participants at the same time. So that has allowed us to change our conversation, to change our message, and be more efficient in our own way.
And with automation, you actually have it running 24/7, whereas with humans, you're working 8, 9 hours a day as a team. And so this really scales, having more people interested coming into your funnel, experiencing, creating a bot. So then what happens to your sales engineers? Are they then talking with those who after they experience the demo, comes back to them and say, now I'm interested in having business conversations? Does that make your sales engineer become a lot more of a business savvy kind of sales person, I would say, in this case, and not so much about the technical part of it?
I think this change has allowed us to do a couple of things. One of them is to create a better pipeline of opportunities within our sales cycle. Because now that we have a better qualified prospect that is interested in the platform, that understands what we can do, by experiencing this guided tutorial. Uh, and if they want to follow up conversation, then they already went through that funnel. They understand that there's something deeper and bigger here than just technology. And that is where the value of the SE or the sales engineers comes into play. The conversation really shifts into a different type of conversation. It's not a technical conversation at that point, but it's more of a ROI conversation, value engineering conversation. How can this technology can help you be more competitive within your industry? Can help you achieve a particular goal within your industry. And so the role of the SE, and this is something that we have seen at least in this industry for the past couple of years, is that customers are really understanding that the technology works. A lot of customers are not really interested today in doing proof of technologies or things like that, because they see that the technology has been widely adopted. They really want to understand now how much value I can get from it. Where can I put this technology to work for me and generate some ROI? And that is why the SE, in our organization, is also seen as a business consultant in some point of view. And we're seeing this type of convergence as well, not only from our team, but also from the customer, where they have business analysts or business users that are wanting to participate in this digital transformation, participate in the development of automations. And we see the engineers also trying to become more business savvy and understanding what are the needs of the business, what are the needs of the particular industry.
Are you putting them through some kind of upskilling program, or, like truly a program that helps them to shift their expertise to be more business thinkers?
Absolutely. We have constant enablement with our internal enablement as well as our public training and certification ecosystem, which we call AutomationAnywhere University. This basically allows anyone that is interested really to understand how the technology works, how to implement it, what are the typical use cases, how to actually measure the ROI of a particular process, and generate a value conversation. So I think that's really the main message or the main point of conversations that a lot of executives are really considering today. It's not about the tool that you use, it's not about the technology that you use, it's how much value you can get from it. And I think that anyone that can explain that message, can understand how to get to that message, is a very valuable person for any company.
Louis, so it sounds like you were doing manual demo to mostly automating with some human involved still, but you're able to scale it a lot more. And is the goal to then to completely make it 100% automated?
Absolutely. So the idea is really to make it completely hands-off from our side and put it completely in the hands of the user or the participant or the customer, right? Where they can basically just open up the product, log in, click a button, and then they can start building their own bot for the first time. No experience needed, no product programming experience required. It's really a low code or no code experience for anyone that is really willing to participate in this activity. And the goal, like you mentioned, is to make it completely automated, out of our hands, so that anyone can just join, participate, develop their first bot for the first time, and take that experience with them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the user experience. What they really take from this activity. And the majority of the feedback that we get from the participants who join this is, wow, I didn't know it was so easy, or I didn't know it was so simple to do something like this. And we're talking about complicated technologies. We're talking about automation, AI, ML, but the tool itself also allows for users to really have that feeling of simplicity. That ability to just drag and drop commands and start injecting these complicated algorithms without any knowledge of technical programming, and they can do it right away. So, like you mentioned, the whole goal is to make it hands-off, embed it into the product as well, so that anyone that can just log in and has access will be able to replicate this exercise without a problem.
In Latin America, I know the culture is very much you look people in the eyes, you have a cup of coffee and you get to know, that in-person meeting is very important to build trust. But now that we're all working remotely, what are your thoughts about the future of work in Latin America?
So we really hope that the second half of the year, the vaccinations are more spread and everybody gets more access to it. Maybe that allows us the opportunity to start traveling again, within the different countries. But like you said, the culture is very important in Latin America. It's more of a face-to-face type of interaction, and that's why we have also invested very heavily on that regards. We have offices in the local, in the most important local capitals in the region, and that's why we have local presence in all these countries because of that same culture. Uh, Moving forward, fast forwarding to the second half of the year, I think that a lot of companies are still are going to be embracing a lot of these remote working a lot more. Traveling probably is going to resume, but probably not to the same extent. But I think people are also getting accustomed to it. Accustomed to the whole thing of teleworking and having Zoom calls every day and conducting business from home. But I think little by little things are going to start returning to normal. You know, and when that happens, we already have a very strong team on site that is able to go and have those interactions in their local language with the people. Especially for people in services or sales, that having that local access is very, very important to perform or deliver that service, right? So we'll see. We're really hopeful for this year. We're really excited for what's coming, and I think it's going to be a great year for automation.
Yes, well, I know you guys are doing so well. You've got 56% market share in Latin America. So congratulations. And it's been a great conversation about automation. Thank you for talking with us about how you are eliminating inefficiency and using automation in your own sales engineering team's processes. So I appreciate you being on the show, Luis.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate it.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Luis Barcenas from Automation Anywhere.